Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second annual live StripTill conference. On behalf of Orthman, we would like to extend a very warm welcome to you all. We appreciate taking your time and off your busy schedules and being with us today. My name is Brian Nevo, the host and founder of this live StripTill conference. With me today, I have a grower from South Africa, Dries de Blanche, and we have another grower from the United States, Mike Peterson joining me as well today from Orthman as a lead soil agronomist. Guys, thank you very much for joining us today live. I'm really excited for today's episode. I think there's some really good information to be shared between the four of us online today, and there's a couple of questions and just a few topics that we want to talk about. And I'll bring it over to you, Mick and Mike. I just want to bring the first question to Dries is, since we started or visiting about StripTill today, what was the first initiation, or what introduced you to StripTill?
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here, and so on. Our first thing was we have lots of sandy soils from where we are in the Free State, from sandy to clay, and we have lots of dust storms. And my dad, usually the older guy, he decided we must do something, and he's seen the tool, start building his own, and then we tried and trial and error and everything, and since we got an Orthman, the whole thing blew up, and it made a huge difference. But it was for runoff water and to be more precise with our fertilizer and nutrients.
Sure. Yes. Cool. I know Dries has a couple of images that he wants to share with us. We can see if we can get them on a little bit here in a few minutes. So let's see if we can get them to show them. Dries, just another question is, at your farm location, what has the top two changes or improvements that you could speak about?
It's just that image that you see. It's one of the many dust storms we get, and we try to manage that. We have to leave some residue on, and we're still in our starting phase. We still do conventional, and we plant dry beans. That's why we have this. And with the StripTill, we can do some, right after our dry beans, we can do some cover crops that helped with the dust blowing and so on.
Yes.
Huge difference it made is the runoff of water. Mm-hmm. We can utilize one tractor, have a good tractor with GPS and everything. We don't need a lot of tools and so on, and that's also the big thing. And the maintenance on the tractors, it's dust, air filters, all that kind of stuff. Hours, that's everything that add up. It's the fuel is big thing, but it's not just the fuel for us. All of that played together to make it a big difference for us.
And the hours that you put on the tractors as well.
As well, yeah.
Less servicing your tractors, those are all cost effective, I guess.
Yes.
Dries, just another question is, the main crops that you guys use. I know you have another image here. What you mainly use, what crops do you guys?
We plant corn, soybeans, and dry beans. That's what we did. We used to plant some wheat, winter wheat, but that's starting to get way less in our region where I am. So that's one of my images. After dry beans, we planted a cover crop, white rose, StripTill right into it, and plant our corn. And usually we have that dust storms on it and everything, and that helped a lot. And
sure.
One pass, and we are ready to plant.
Sure.
I know for you, Mick, you were doing some field research. Did you find that when you did get summer rainstorms that your StripTill reduced the kind of runoff and you had better water infiltration, or what were your experiences?
Good question, Mike. So the one field used to be a gravity irrigated field, so it has a slope to it. It's been leveled at one point in time or another. And when we had heavy rainfall events, we would see water puddling and running off of the non-strip-till area on the no-till side of that field. Where we had the strip-till, we were actually increasing that water infiltration rate and actually taking that water into the ground where it could be more useful to the plants.
Great. How about you, Dries? I know you guys get, during your summer months, you get some intense summer thunderstorms. What were your experiences?
Yes, that's one thing I want to answer. This year was one of our, I think it's the most rain we ever had, my dad said. And since on the farm I left, it's about 200 millimeters more than I ever had. And not spread it at once, 50 millimeters, 60 millimeters. And we were very worried of that some of our ruts or the strips is going to wash out. That was a big concern from the beginning of us. Everybody asked us what we're going to do on a year like this. And this year proved itself. The fields that were like 5 years or so on in the StripTill system, you can't show me somewhere that it washed out. And especially fields that's right next to each other, the one that's that we do a few years of strip tillage on, next right went to dry beans. We still work that fields because we don't have that chemical, all that Roundup to spray and everything. So it's just this year you can see the big differences in infiltration. So not even as long, and we start to see the big differences from now. It is that is true, Mike. That's one thing that's we are happy about, especially when we come out of that dry winters we are used to.
Right, right. I know that during your winter months, you guys maybe get, what, 100 millimeters at best?
Yeah, we used to, but that's why we don't plant wheat anymore. It went away. We don't even get that rain anymore. We are lucky if we get 20 millimeters in a winter's time at this moment.
Oh, so. Boy.
Yeah. Climate's changed. Definitely. Dries, just to maybe get a bit more history on, what do you pretty much do with your StripTill? Do you put fertilizer with the StripTill, dry, liquid?
Yes, we try to do most in the winter times or late in the winter as the moisture give us chance. Then we try to get in some cornfields for the soybeans, and then we put in nitrogen, and we start playing around the last year or two. My brother is doing a lot of research on putting phosphates and all that kind of stuff down, and then we will band about half of our nitrogen, and then when we plant, we have the fertilizer boxes on the planter, and we put it 2 by 2 with the
pop-up.
Yes, just okay. And then a big thing also, and that's my younger brother. I'm happy he came into our farm with this kind of tillage or strip tillage. He likes to do a lot of research on the wide drops and like the banding and all that stuff. So we are trying that, and we see big differences.
Correct, and I think that comes back to you, Mike, and we've had these discussions how many times, and we had this discussion last year as well as you want to ban that fertilizer. If you go and see and you look at a plant or a maize, corn, their leaves are pretty much they come down like this. The rain catches, the leaves catch that raindrops, and where does it filter to? It filters to the roots. So that's where you want to concentrate on banning that fertilizer, the food pretty much for the plant. So, I just thought I want to throw that in there. So, yes, no, I think that is great information that Dries shared with us there. I know he's got a couple of other images that he wants to show us. So Dries, just explain a little bit, I know we had a bit of discussion before we came on. Yes, some really good images with material that's left in between your rows.
Yes, that's our soybean fields. That's why I also tell this, the one tripper made it much easier. We don't have to deal with the residue. We have cattle, so we run them in there for a while, and then we don't have to disc it all up. We can run the StripTill and plant right into it. And I think it's one of the best seed beds you can get if you everything is tuned, and breaking that pan if you have some. And that's why I really that I listened from your conferences earlier the week. I really like to get my hands on some of that wavy coater, because usually if we have enough moisture, this year I think we're going to get most done before planting time. But just that piece that's left, that wet soil, maybe try to run some of that wavy coaters in it, because I think that can, for soybeans, can make a big difference for us, or and to not, because we can get a lot of rain and it can suddenly get too wet.
Yes. What's your guys' feel on that, Mike? Have you guys experienced that? Mick?
I let Mick answer that.
Well, I like to leave as much residue there as possible, and I move. What we were doing is we move over 3 to 5 inches from the old row, and that system has worked very well for us as far as keeping some residue there in order to capture the benefits of that residue, and then also gives us an opportunity to have a clean seed bed to work with.
I know that, especially when we're in beans, following corn, talking about soybeans, that growers get a lot of benefit from the residue protecting that little plant, because it likes to buggy whip. That means it goes around and around in circles when we have severe winds. And if you've got stalks and other kinds of residue there to protect it, that baby bean plant has a better job of coming up and being successful. So as Mick has just explained, when you're only about 10 centimeters away from the previous row, we can do a better job of getting that plant and getting every one of them to succeed and grow pods of beans for later. Now, Dries, you said that you also grow dry beans. What kind of dry beans are those?
In South Africa, we call them the sugar beans, speckled dry beans. It's
they're speckled?
Yes, speckled ones, yes. We tried, this year we left some fields to try to do some strip tillage on. We did it before. Our only problem with that is we need to get rid of some of our residue, because you cut it and you throw it in the windrow, and then your combine picks it up, and it's a lot of dust going, and then they want a clean product. Dust is a big dockage on your sample, so that's not a big problem, and that's we tried. We did some, and it worked well, but our other big problem is we don't have that extra tools like Roundup or something like that to manage most of our weeds. So
I know here in the United States, and they're trying to make them more available, that we have dry beans that are called direct combine beans, and because they can stand longer in the field and not shatter out of the pod, and hopefully someday, and they're doing it by just breeding, they're not having to do it with transgenic or anything like that, that might be available to you guys. Now, they don't have it in speckled beans, so far it's only in the pinto bean, but and also some of the little white beans. But that will make a huge difference with you in a StripTill environment. So you don't have to windrow your beans and have to use herbicide selection. So hopefully that'll be available. You can keep asking, find out whether or not the direct combine beans are available to you.
Yes, totally. And I think we're the Dry Bean Association, I think a lot of guys is working a lot of that. There is breeders also trying, and I think they are making good progress. So, and that will help us a lot. I would say so. Yes,
Correct.
it will help to get that done.
And just another question is, Dries, to you is, have you seen any efficiency in banning of, placing that fertilizer with StripTill?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, the yields that we're starting to get in the beginning, me and my dad and brother said, if we can just get the same, then conventional, we are winning because our cost is low, and we actually just don't want to do it for the cost saving is big, but through years and years of plowing and all that stuff, I can't believe our soil, the big difference in our soils it made. Earthworms, that's something to us we don't know. We usually if we find one, we are through the roof. Now if you just dig, they're starting to be everywhere.
Yeah.
All the living roots or the roots in the soil and holding it together. We don't get that much washout anymore. That's also for us a big improvement on that. So
Sure, and I see, here's another image, with that's soybeans, right?
yes, it's on soybeans. We like to, and that's just one thing I've seen from the images of the United States that we don't get. I would like to get my seed bed more even. I think in time we'll get there, and but corn comes up great. Sometimes just a joke. My brother thinks his field view app is lying to him because he shows skips, but if you fly over it, you can't really see gaps. So we are very happy with the seed bed and germination and everything on it. So.
And maybe you can just explain a bit on these two images here. And when we had a little chat earlier on, I was very impressed to see what I saw there. And this is obviously your last year's.
Yes, last year's crop. This year's crop, we got a lot of water problems. The crop is not looking bad, and I'm very happy about my cover crop fields this year. There, my corn is good. Our corn on corn, I don't know, something went a little bit wrong on that. I think we have too much nutrient loss on that, but not just the StripTill, it's everywhere. We have a lot of rain. Even my conventional is waterlogged. Everything is waterlogged. If you have too much rain, you have too much rain. But I learned some things. I don't have to be scared for this wet years with StripTill. It's really.
Dries, that's kind of a surprise. The times that I've come over to South Africa, and I hear from your mouth, you're saying you got too much water.
Yeah, that is not something we'll say often, but this year, it's unbelievable.
Mick, for you, last summer, you did a root dig, and you might want to express to the folks overseas some of the things that you saw in that root profile with the hybrids between the no-till and the StripTill.
Yeah, so Mike, you were there with me, and I think kind of the neatest thing is we had a hybrid that really doesn't have a strong root structure. In fact, we had avoided planting that in the entire field, but had done some strips of that where we had StripTill versus no-till. And when we looked at that hybrid, where we had no-till, it would go a little ways and just run out of gas, could not push through that hard pan. Where we had the StripTill, that hybrid looked completely different. I mean, you and I commented about that, is it looked completely different because of the ease it could move down through that profile and produce a root system that was better than that hybrid typically does.
Yeah. The reason I wanted you to talk about that some, Mick and Dries, is that we're finding here in the States that the big three of the corn seed companies don't have a really good grasp on what StripTill will do for their hybrids and their rooting capabilities. And we want to, as a company, and having guys like Mick and hopefully you, Dries, to really get an idea that StripTill can offer a root system that will gain a lot more of your soil profile to get water and nutrients. And that's incredibly important, because looking at that picture of your last picture of the corn that had the contour and it moved off to the left, that was a beautiful field of corn. And I would imagine that the root system was far larger and more expansive into the soil profile than you had experienced in the years prior.
Yes, that's true. And if I can come in with something, especially on that fields, is some guys, I like to do some treatments in furrow also with my planter. That helps a lot with some root developments. And the big thing is the big question in South Africa is always sort of they see the big thing is we're just going to farm in that pot we're going to make with the one tine and so on. And they come to visit me, and they dug from it was starting to grow till the day we harvest. And the one day we were in there, and that one guy said he can prove them wrong, because we dig in the middle of the row, we plant 3 feet 91 centimeters, and the roots were right in the middle, so they went right through the profile. And that's true. This year, with all the water we have, the corn with the best roots, they are still growing, and they made it through. And just one other thing before I forget, in the hybrids, I'm in a lucky position. My father-in-law do a lot of trials for a lot of seed companies. He just do it, he gives the yields, nothing to do with anything. And he comes and do plots on my farm. And this year, some of the corn is totally dried out, or not dried out, the water took it away. And some of them are standing right in, still green and growing. So that's the varieties we have to look at, and that's going to do it for us. So that's what I see.
Good. That's great that you guys are being able to find those hybrids that are going to perform in the StripTill system, because we know that here in the States, and I would imagine overseas too, that we need to be doing these kinds of research plots so that we can help you and other growers make those choices correctly and be able to get the right hybrid for the field that you have, and that StripTill will make a difference. Because as Mick just said, he had a hybrid that was poor performing in the no-till system, or probably might have done the same in a conventional tillage. But when you StripTilled it, it was night and day difference. So that is a message that we at Orthman and Brian and I have both talked about a lot, and we want to help promote the idea that, man, we can get you the performance out of a hybrid that you've probably never had before. Now that maybe sounds fairly of a bold statement, but it's true. And also we can select better because this day and age, when you have to pay the price of a bag of corn for here in the United States, we have corn prices that will run anywhere from $300 to $375 US per bag. And you think about, we can get little over a hectare out of one bag of corn. Yep. Wow, that's a high cost. And so we're trying to make sure that we can do that. Now, Mick, you also did some StripTill work in some rain-fed agriculture. What kind of information can you share with us from that particular place?
So actually had them in a couple different fields, and we definitely we saw a benefit to that in moisture saving. Definitely where we had that, we could see that corn, especially in a stressy, drouthy environment last year, in that one field, I mean, it was very limited on water. I'm trying to remember, I think we had 8 inches during the growing season in that environment. And we were still, with our StripTill, able to produce a decent crop, where our no-till right next to it just ran out of gas. It just completely ran out of water.
Do you remember what those yields might have been, or is that in your memory bank?
The whole field average was right around 186 bushel per acre. Where we had done the StripTill, we were around that 200 bushel environment.
So you were close to 12 ton per hectare.
Correct.
Yeah, that's Jim Dandy corn when you only have 200 millimeters of moisture in the summer.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, thank you. I know our time is running a little late here now, but Mick, just maybe a last question is, if you had to give something to growers, or give any information to any growers about StripTill, what would that be from your end?
I guess for me, and I'm going to throw this out there. This is 8 to 10 years ago. I experienced a hybrid that typically what I would call a fibrous root system, very shallow rooted hybrid. When we put it in StripTill, we saw that root system completely change to more of a tap rooted hybrid, and it was going after those nutrients. So moisture efficiency, nutrient use efficiency are improved a lot with StripTill, and those are the things that I enjoy. I like to see it change that plant. I'm a hands-on guy. I like to dig things up and look at them, and when I see those things changing because of things I'm doing, and then the yields increasing because of that, it helps a lot. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Dries, from your end, if there's anything that you can, say to the guys out there, what you guys experience and what you believe, just to motivate, guys, what you guys have seen as growers, as a farmer, as yourself, with you and your dad, what have you guys seen from it?
Yes, it's so much more efficient, and the placement, you can do it more correctly. You don't need a lot of tools to do. You can do it in one pass. And the big thing is we have to get the right hybrids working together, and that's where I'm very happy about this conference and the team you have and the other farmers from the US that can give us advice. We are still in our beginning phases. We learn a lot by ourselves, and something that I know earlier is always don't change the practice, but change your problem or something like that. That's the big thing, and keep on going. And I think this and the soil, you will see the big difference in a very fast, in timely manner. You will see a big difference. Yeah. So.
No, thank you very much, Dries, and just to come back on that to everyone who's watching today, and who's going to be watching these videos. That is who we are. That is who Orthman is. We work close with the growers. We help where we can. We have agronomists that works in the sideline, who's in the field every day. There's guys like me who's out in the field, generates all that information. And yes, we will be sharing all the information from our trials that we do here in South Africa and the trials that we do in the US. So lastly, thank you to all my sponsors, Pro Agri, Lazar, the guys that does the media. Thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Out here, when you've got a problem, you need a solution. And when there's a need, there's an opportunity. This farm has been here for over 50 years. Orthman Manufacturing started on this land, in this barn, and with one man convinced there's got to be a better way. What started with the Orthman family farm has grown into 50 years of farming innovation and quality, and a manufacturer helping growers be more efficient around the world. Just because something's been done before doesn't mean it's been done right. And that's where Orthman found the passion for innovation. And the spark of an idea changed an entire industry. We understand the power and performance you need and the excellence and quality you deserve. The smallest of details are important to us. Shapes, corners, edges, every last detail. There's a standard of excellence, and we take pride in setting the bar and pushing beyond it. Using the latest in design technology, Orthman is continuing a 50-year tradition of innovation for farmers. From the basics to the breakthroughs. Like hollow structural tubing that has now become a standard in the industry. The durability and long life of Orthman row crop cultivators. Our innovative stack fold toolbar technology and the common sense utility of the track tiller. Orthman is constantly going one step further, leading the way by developing innovative GPS guidance systems or the unparalleled performance of the one-tripper precision StripTill machine. A machine that pioneered strip tillage around the world. And the tradition of Orthman's innovation doesn't end there. No matter what challenges lay ahead, Orthman will continue to lead the way. Your common problems have a unique solution. That's Orthman. Now let's get to work.